We're over here tapping in with KWJT, Puget Sound from space. I'm over here with Corey. You're tapping in with Tavares and sliding with Solana. And you're chilling with Rolando. Please, hold on. Quick hand clap to welcome in our new friend, Rolando, in the building.
Yes.
That's our producer. So show Groovers, show a bunch of love.
Come on.
And then you guys, I love to start the show off with a whole bunch of shit. So let's go ahead and ring those off. For the past Groovers who's been tapping in, thank you for tapping in with us. We appreciate you guys. If you're here because of this episode, thank you so much for joining us today. And please, if you could be ever so kind to go hit that subscribe button on YouTube, we would truly appreciate it. If you didn't know already, we are on all audio platforms, so check us out. If you are, rocking throughout your day in the whip or whatever, you want to post up, listen to us, you can definitely listen to us. Am I forgetting anything?
To introduce yourself.
This is Corey.
Hello.
Corey's right here. And this is Tavares. So thank you for tuning in. Honestly, it's so exciting. It feels like a brand new era here in Groovy Tape. So please welcome our new guests. We got CeCe T Music up in the motherfucking building, man.
Yeah. CeCe T in the building, man. What the fuck going on?
Welcome.
Woo, that was a motherfucking mouthful, but oh my goodness.
Come on, man. Energy,
man. Welcome. It is truly a blessing, and I'm so happy that you are here to join us today. So thank you for taking time out of your day to be here with us.
Shit, thank you for putting me on, man. I don't know how many times I asked you now.
No, I know.
Here,
I know.
20, 30,000 episodes later and shit.
It's been since probably the beginning stages of Groovy Tapes. I remember CeCe reaching
I
out.
was a fan.
Yeah.
Don't fucking play with me.
Yep, facts. But we are finally here. You feel me?
It's sloppy, but it's okay.
I mean, we trying to get it right, brother. It's not just don't just put that on me.
I can.
No, but we trying to get it right, and we finally are establishing ourselves, and our team is growing. So finally really tightening all the loose ends of what we've been
better responding.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's love between me and CeCe. I love what you're doing. I absolutely love what you're doing. You're definitely a voice in not only the artist community but our community. Yeah. I look up to you, so it is truly a blessing to have you here.
That means a lot, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys for having me on the show. Like I said,
of course.
I've been a big old fan. You guys are definitely one of Seattle's platforms, and a lot of artists know it. So, hey, y'all better tap that subscribe button and stop playing with us.
Hello. Give a real hand clap for us real quick. All of us in the room. This is a hand clap for all of us.
Tavares is about to go crazy.
Let's talk about it.
He's about to go crazy.
We did mention it. I mean, off camera we were having a conversation, but before we do get into the nitty gritty, I did want to re-ask you, on camera, where you're from, where did it all begin for you? How'd you get here in Washington?
I was born in Hawaii, Waipahu 94 block, Poopstown. And then I moved to Seattle very young. Moved to Oakland for a little bit, but I would really say Seattle was my first place of business.
Mm-hmm.
I did all my first kiss,
Mm-hmm.
high school type deal. First fight, I got my ass whooped. So thank you, Mom, for saving me that day. But I would really say Burien. I stayed in Burien, 8th Ave, if you know where that's at. Then, right by Highline High School. So, yeah, I would say Burien for sure really raised me out here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My grandma was White Center, and obviously all my cousins and everyone resided in White Center, but my family itself was in Burien.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
We were the mobile family, so we lived in every city you could think of.
Moving everywhere.
2 months in Graham, 2 months in Puyallup. We was everywhere.
Do you think moving around a lot gave you a lot more of a world view of Washington? Because you say you're from Burien, that is where you call home, but I feel like being able to travel throughout Washington kind of detaches you to a lot of the stigmas people fall into here. Do you think that shaped you in any way growing up?
I definitely think it gave me a lot of perspective on different areas. So like I said, a lot of my friends that I do know, or like people that I'm acquainted with,
Uh-huh.
they're all from different areas.
Yeah.
And one thing I do love it's that. Like, I don't like hanging out with people all from one spot, because people like kind of group you in with all these different people, or like all the same people. But I don't know. I like meeting different personalities. I like networking. And if I didn't move to Federal Way, if I didn't move to Graham or Tacoma, I wouldn't have known a lot of the people that I do know.
Yeah.
Like, just from living next door to them in the apartment complexes type deal. Like, it gave me a lot of perspective for sure.
Oh, that's fire.
Oh, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So I wanted to ask, what growing up attracted you to music, and kind of like formed that in you young. That's the terrible way to say that. What attracted you to music when you were younger? That is a proper way to ask that question.
I feel like I was a really emotional child. A lot of people see what I wear on the outside, so they're like, "Oh, that's a tomboy," blah blah this. But I'm not masculine as people think, if that makes sense. I'm very emotional. So when I was growing up, music really did that for me. I also had, role models in my family, like my siblings. Shout out to Miss Morgan Britt. That's my older sister, and she was like doing her music thing as we were, getting older. And then Jody Cash is my cousin as well.
Oh, fire.
And they literally were like showing us the pathway. So me and Mark, my little brother Mook, we were watching their journey go on.
Yeah.
But my grandma and my grandpa, before, rest in peace to both of them, it was scripted. It felt like. My grandpa, they always used to tell us stories about my grandpa sitting under a tree in Samoa playing the guitar and just singing every day. So I felt like we really don't have any other choice but to do music. But we also do it because we love it. So it was very therapeutic for me. And as I got older, I seen how much weight and toll it took off of my chest. Yeah. So, I think that's what it is.
That's beautiful. I love that you said that it's scripted, just because, like, I feel the same way with kind of how Tavares grew up, and I feel like it's very ingrained into like the Islander culture of just like expression through music, and I really love that about the Islander community, just because you guys have such range in voices and musical taste. Just because, like, I feel like all island kids grow up with the same like list of music, so that background of
facts.
Just listening to all the same shit, but also you guys branch off to, because the attachment to, I would say like soca music is like, because my father is Trini, and my grandfather on my mom's side is Haitian. Yeah. So like they're technically two islands. So a lot of my music as a child would be soca music. So I would say like that attachment to just always hearing like different, like Pan-African sounds and just things like that growing up through the household. Do you think just hearing alternative music to like what you probably discovered through like, I would say, more Americanized music and things like that shaped your style of creating music?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Listening to the music in general was just like, I don't know, we grew up on country, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of people don't understand. We grew up on country, so a lot of that music, like R&B and stuff that we sing now, I'd really rather be doing country.
Really?
The politics that come behind trying to do what I really want to do, I'm not ready for that right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not ready for that. Let me get some noise behind the R&B, R&B, and then we'll make some noise with country. But for sure, it did, how do you say it, shape me to make certain type of music, listening to Samoan music, growing up, reggae music. I wanted to be in that lane until I seen, like, a lot of people didn't grow out of that lane of music.
Yep.
And, hey, don't bash me for this, but this is just my personal, opinion on the reggae community and, how do you say, our poly music was going.
Yeah.
I wanted to be bigger than that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people might think that's selfish or not, but I had so much more dreams and aspirations outside of my community that it was hard to try and separate from them making music. Yeah. And I don't know, I got a lot of backlash my senior year for it when I dropped my first song. Yeah. And then, did Polyfest. And then I just kind of wanted to, separate
break off from that.
Because one thing about it, the poly community is always going to support.
Yeah.
So why couldn't they support me in a different lane? You know what I'm saying? Like, if a lot of us can branch out and do what we really want us to do with this music thing, the poly community is gonna come.
Facts.
They're gonna be right behind us, but we just gotta show them that we could do that.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna back somebody up and then the person that they're backing up can't hold their own weight,
Yeah.
then it makes everybody look stupid.
Thanks.
No, I love the fact that you bring that up, because I definitely like hold that to heart. You know, just those norms that like we kind of hold to ourselves to, and then you know, I think it's amazing that you bring up like just breaking that initial mold. You know, I mean, it's amazing. I like. Our roots are in island reggae, you know, that's our identity. You know, we don't have to prove ourselves within that anymore. But, you know, a lot of us are so different. Like, you know, we're not like one carbon copy of like, you know, the next Fiji, the next J-Boog, you know, and all the rest of the Polynesian artists that, you know, are in that lane. I also feel like the actual music industry, like kind of just casts a shadow on that. Like you can make it there, you made it, but you know, you're not considered a great in their eyes, you know.
Not yet, people be like, there's so much more steps to what people think this thing is, but man, they don't even know.
I think it's important that you bring up that conversation, because it allows like the youth in our community to be like, oh, I can be different. Like, you know, it's okay to like try something different and be comfortable within that, because a lot of us like get there and we stop once we hear the first like no, and then like after that it's like, oh, then maybe I should stick in the same lane. But the fact that you are, you know, vocal about changing that direction, I think is awesome. It really leads up to this question that I have for you. I wanted to ask, do you ever feel the pressure of the traditions in our community since you're chasing something outside of our norm?
Oh, for sure. I'm glad you asked that, because a lot of people always ask, when are you dropping new music? When are you dropping this and that? When I dropped my first song, I was 18 years old. I had just turned 18, and it got a lot more play than I expected it to get from our community. And I say our community because it was a poly community song. Lifetime Lover, if you guys haven't, go ahead and stream that. But when I feel pressure, that's really why I took that 3-year break from dropping music, because they were like, well, do you really want to make this type of music? Do you really want to, you know? And I felt like my sexuality had a lot to play in that. And how I looked. And once I got the neck tattoo, it was a lot of pressure to be like, okay, I am the daughter of so-and-so. I am the granddaughter of so-and-so. And then they're like, well, your grandma then didn't have tattoos. They didn't, you know, they weren't on the scene like that. Well, they also weren't raised in America. You know, they also weren't raised out here, like in the States. So it's like, it was very different for me. And I definitely didn't get the pressure from my family. The community took a big toll on my mental, like, and it sucks to say, but we have to talk about it.
Yeah, we do.
The community had so many questions that I wasn't even ready to answer at that time. So when that started coming and the live performances started coming, I felt like I let myself down, because I was trying to be somebody who I wasn't. I was trying to fit into the poly reggae community and the industry within that, but I didn't want to be a part of that like that. And that's no disrespect, but my dreams were like, I wanted to be a country artist. I wanted to be someone who sang softer music, like loft music, if that makes sense. But then I strayed back into poly reggae, and you know, I love it, but it's also not the lane of music that I want to be in for the rest of my life. So yes, a lot of pressure.
It's like an uncomfortable, you know, you're like suit, you know, like you feel like you within your own body that, you know, you can't truly be who you are. And man, I love that you bring that up. And you know, if there's anybody out there listening to what we're talking about, you know, really take heed into like what we're dealing with, because you're not alone. Like, but you know, like there's thousands of young, you know, poly kids, you know, young island kids, you know, that are faced with the same ordeal. Like, you know, do I keep up the tradition of our people, or do I feel comfortable with who I am within myself? You know, like a lot of our hearts are split between the two, you know, and we can lose sight of ourselves within the process, because, you know, I want to be unapologetically myself, you know. I want people to know that, like,
and that's facts.
Wherever you go, like, whatever you're doing, whatever you're dealing with, like, you can be yourself. And I feel like our kids, like, especially, they get lost in that. They're like, you know, I have so much to like live for. I have so much to prove. But at the end of the day, like, you should truly like do this for you. So thank you for sharing that with us. And, you know, I want to give you a good, well-deserved hand clap.
Hey, the questions are coming in tough. We love it, man. Pick my brain.
Oh yes.
I really love the conversation. This is definitely going to be one of those interviews where I play just more watching and just hearing you guys interact, just because I feel like the Islander conversation is very rarely had outside of your guys' platforms and like outside of the setting of where like anybody watching that, because our demo is basically mostly black and brown people of Washington.
Yeah.
So to hear the Polynesian community just being spoke on for me is very interesting, because I've always told Tavares that like you guys have the biggest demo. Like if anybody in the world, like you guys could be Bad Bunnies tomorrow just because, but you have
Facts.
more people. And if you understand like how Polynesians love, you guys love hard. And like you guys are very accepting and very like, if you are kin in any sort of way, any sort of lineage, there's a brotherhood, there's a sisterhood already built into it. So I love that you guys were touched on the fact that like we haven't yet crossed over into like I would say pop R&B country in ways that I feel like you guys will and can and will dominate in, because like no one outside of like the Latin community, no one has as big of a base and like real genuine love as the Polynesian community. So I love just hearing you guys talk about your perspective and like what's actually going on, because I don't know. I get to like I've known Tavares my whole life, but I'm still not an Islander. Like I'm accepted in the community. Like everyone loves me, but I'm like there's still things that I don't understand about tradition and just like family norms that I didn't grow up with that I feel like plagues the entire Polynesian community, because you guys understand certain traditions to home and like and how that plays out in America, where it's like it's not the same place, but it has to be passed on in the same way and like treated the same way. So I could understand how that could be difficult, like dealing with a whole westernized style of living, but also having to be like say no to shit that you love and just like now walk into your own path just because it's like not the norm where you're from. So I just love hearing you two discuss and like talk about it. So I end up paying more of a back seat today just because I'm just listening and I'm soaking up game like you guys should, just because it's so very interesting to me.
No,
I ask them up. I
appreciate that, brother, because like you know, I feel like we have the conversation, but we don't have this conversation enough in front of the people's eyes. So you know, it's always wonderful to have this opportunity. Because it's always been around me, but using the platform as something to elevate that conversation to more eyes and ears is awesome. Before we do move on from community, I want to ask you, what do you want to see different in how the Polynesian community supports their artists or their creatives?
Ooh, that one is tough, because I feel like that's a question that we get a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've asked that myself to, promoters, to different people in the industry. As far as just stop showing fake love. Like that's my thing. Like don't do the whole fake love thing. Like come perform, come do this, and then when the next buzz is here, then you're trying to get somebody from out of state to come out here and do it. We have so much locally talented people, and I feel like if people really believed in that vision and that goal, they would go full force on it. No matter, you don't have to spend $1. You got to think about it: 1 share, 1 like, 1 retweet. That's all we ask, really, when it comes down to it. But I feel like I would really change how promotions are done and how I don't know how they do their not even really shows and concerts out here, but like as people always say, poly support polys, right?
Right. Yeah.
But it's the people that matter the most to the poly community that don't show the support that's needed. So it's like, I feel like if there was something that we could take, if there was a piece of advice that any one of those promoters or anyone in the world, like Polynesian wise, could give us, would just be what to do next. We don't have those resources. And I feel like there's a lot of artists reaching out and saying, hey, can I perform here? Can I perform here? Can I do this? Can I do that? Don't be ashamed to do that. Like, don't be embarrassed because you feel like the Polynesian community will talk to you, or like the music scene will talk about you in that sense. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are just way too scared because of the talk. Like, if just support, basically. Just support. Don't show the fake love. If you don't believe in an artist, I feel like you should tell them straight up. Like,
don't spare our feelings. You know, a lot of us, I feel like, are very like overly considerate. You know, because I feel like the love falls in that line of thinking of tradition. You know, because we do support our own, but go beyond that. You know, I feel like a lot of people are trying to. They try to save face. They like, you know, oh, I love what you're doing. I'm gonna pop out. You know, I'm gonna do it for one day, and then, you know, you drop something, nothing goes on. You know, you're actively pursuing like new things. An interview comes out. You know, they're not tapping in with the interview. You know, you're doing a lot of things outside of the music, and you should full-heartedly support like what's going on 100%. And I'm not saying that people aren't doing that, but it needs to be more prevalent besides like the one-off. You know, we're so caught up in like our own way of living that, you know, it stops us from being able to, you know, lift each other up, one another up. So I think we need to you know, just be gone with despairing our feelings.
Yeah. That's what I mean by fake love. Like, if you really believe in something, or like if you're talking to me one-on-one and you really don't believe in something that I'm doing, tell me straight up. Because you might not believe it, but I can go push it to somebody else who will, and who will take me to the next step or will give me the next resources. Don't gatekeep at the end, like, oh, okay, you know, we got you, and then come closer to the time and it's like, oh, you know what, some things came up. You know, some things came up. I can feel energy, and I feel like if your energy is not right, I'm going to know right off the back. You know what I'm saying? So just give it to me straight up. Even if it's going to hurt my feelings, I'd rather take that than to go home and think I'm the shit. Yeah. You know? And then also, just to add on to that, I hope you guys know that's watching, this is like sports. The music is like sports. It's 90% of that is everything else. It's 10% music. Majority of the time, it's 95% of the politics, and it's 5% music. It's easier for a lot of us to get in and start writing music and performing and, you know, getting in the studio. But the other politics of it, people fall short, and that's why there's only a 1% in the world for music.
Thanks.
Man, good hand clap for the isms going on here, man. I hope they're really listening on the other side of the camera.
Y'all better be. Y'all better be, man.
I have
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I have a non-music question.
Oh,
let's talk about it.
Oh, we're here. I love it. Go ahead, brother.
Is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson a great actor?
Oh my gosh, he did it to me, guys. He fucking did it. Because I'll start CeCe real quick, because I think he's a great fucking actor. My GOAT, you feel me? My greatest of all time, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. You know, The Game Plan. You know, Gridiron Gang. What else? You know, Black Adam recently.
I didn't watch that.
I didn't watch it either.
Oh, there we go.
Good examples of, you know, him adding to his repertoire of acting skills that a lot of people think he doesn't have. But go ahead, CeCe, if you have an answer.
Uncle Dwayne, if you hear me here, bro. Nah, I think he's cool. I just don't watch too many of his movies like that. But I think he alright. Shout out to the poly actors.
He's holding it down for us, you feel me?
Hold it down up.
You know, greatest black Samoan actor out there, you feel me?
You lucky Jason Momoa don't got no black in him. If he did, Jason Momoa would fucking outshine The Rock every time.
Oh my God, yeah,
that's a real actor.
Momoa got it. If you've never seen C on Apple TV, that shit go crazy. Yeah, that's a good one. He got like this other one called like Frontier.
Oh, you be tapped in?
Oh yeah,
Frontier is great.
Yeah, that's a good show.
Momoa?
Yeah, Momoa.
Oh, you are tapped in.
Yeah, he got shows. He got shows, and he's really good. He also got really good indie movies and shit that like from his time. And then he used to be on Baywatch. Bro used to be on Baywatch. I'm like, all right.
That's right, with his little eyebrows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you know, don't do it to him.
He tapped in.
He's for real tapped in.
You know,
I gotta start. We gotta get you like.
I be on them, bro. Like, you know, I support anybody, Poly Islander. Like, once I find out that you have like something like 10%, 5%,
part of the gang?
you know, I'm like on you now. Like, I'm like making sure you know, you ain't involved in no scandals. You ain't doing nothing too crazy. I gotta make sure, you know,
some our sweet positivity.
Yeah, I do. And then I tweet them. I'm like, man, I'm such a great fan, bro. Like, you know, I'm really excited if we're on the topic of like Islander media. There's a new Netflix movie. I gotta change my VPN so I can watch it. But a new Netflix movie.
Don't say that into the camera. Like, it's legal, but like,
yeah, VPN Shark, hit me up. VPN Shark, I need the sponsor. But I'm trying to watch. It's about when Tonga went to the Rugby World Cup in 2011. But it's about a group of Tongans that are trying to get into the game, and so they become the marching band for the team. So it looks fire. It's some like 2023 shit. Like, it looks nice, new, updated. You know, I also fuck with Whale Rider. Let me throw Whale Rider in there. Like, you know, we love Whale Rider.
We talk about it. I'm gonna need to get a list of these before I leave.
We are coming up on our break, so do you want to breakify real quick?
We can just breakify real quick.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back, check on these cameras, you guys. All right, we're back. Groovy Tapes. Corey, you had a question before we moved on to the break.
It's gonna get a little sad, but what has been the hardest song for you to make in your career so far?
Ooh, that's definitely In the Vault, which my album will be coming out this year. I don't have a set date on it, but it's probably one of my most vulnerable projects I've done. I feel like it's time for people to really see what I'm about. They see covers, they see different songs that I'm making as singles now. But if I could say vulnerable, it's about my grandma. She was like the matriarch of our family, passed October 3rd. And so, I don't know, since she passed, I feel like everything kind of changed for not just myself. Right. But if you listen to, you know, all my other relatives' songs that are playing right now, everyone says granny or mama or someone. And that's all of our same mama type deal. It took a toll. She was a single mom, raised 7 kids, you know, 5 boys to be men, two ladies to be women type deal. So when we lost her, it was definitely like one of those, we were all lost. Yeah. And so one of the tracks is called I'm a Woman's Woman. And I felt like I got my love from my grandma, obviously. And I felt like she held all the love in there. So when she passed, I felt like I had no more to give. I had no more of that love in me. So being a woman's woman was more so of like, I'm a lover girl, but at the end of the day, I'm still a woman, like with them feelings type deal. So, right. Yeah.
No, thank you for sharing that with us.
I got sad, man. I can get sad. I'm a little lover girl. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess for me, I would have answered it way more sad if someone asked me that. But I don't make music, so I luck out in that ways. I don't know. I feel sometimes that question can be like more triggering to like dark places in people's lives. So
for sure.
That's why I preference it that way. Just so that it was like kind of out of nowhere, but it's also like the direction of the sentiment, I guess, of where it was coming from. Just so that it didn't. I don't know. I try not to like. I know the point of this is the interview, but I also try not to like. I don't want you to take this home and be like, "Fuck, Corey asked me that fucked up ass question."
No.
Yeah, reliving.
I'm an open book, and like even if you see me on the street, you can ask me whatever. Yeah. If I really don't want to tell you, then I'm gonna tell you. You know, let's pass.
No comment.
Like, I got you. But yeah, as far as that, I'm a pretty sad person, and I was a sad person for a really long time. As like. When I say this, check on your mental health. That's the biggest thing. I was suicidal for like 2 years, and nobody knew it because I held a smile on my face type deal. And there was a song I made when I was 16 called Alone. Being surrounded by so many people, like a room full of people, and still feeling alone, you know something's wrong with you. You know something's wrong internally that you need to fix. Yeah. And that was like my boat, basically, that I was sailing on for a little bit. And I felt like it sank and I was drowning, and there were so many people around me but couldn't save me. I literally had to save myself. Like, so yeah, I could get deep, but we gonna generalize it. So.
Hey,
that's the Groovy Tapes way. We take it all. Like we appreciate you just being forefront with emotions. Like, that's important, I think, just for people to visually see, because sometimes like without seeing the act of like someone doing it, like you won't be able to like understand that feeling. So I think it's important, and I appreciate you for sharing that with us. Before we move on from the topic of family, I wanted to ask you, how is it navigating the industry knowing you have someone like Mook looking up to you? Because I'm very sibling oriented, and I think it's awesome to see a pair of siblings attacking the game in the same way.
Sheesh. I think growing up, so top of the line, Mook is like my best friend.
Yeah.
So that's my butt buddy, you know, my little brother. But I really look at him like I learned from him too. So when I swivel the way I do, how do you say it? Like I do move accordingly because he's watching.
Right.
And I know he's watching. But he's his own man now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think that makes me a proud big sister at the end of the day. But anything that I do, he's so his own mind. He's a father now. Like I don't even know how to say it. He got his own little brain, but what I do, it's like he kind of knows like, ooh, that's not the direction I want to go in, but I'm a branch out this way. And I love that for him because we're not the same person. You know what I'm saying? He's his own man, like I said, and I don't know. I just like watching what I do, but I feel like I always put myself in a situation where something's going to go down, and Mook's going to be the one to call it like, sis, that's probably not where you want to be tonight, but if you go, let me know. You know, I'm on call. Just call me type deal, so, yeah.
It's really cool to see just a strong pair of siblings that are able to be themselves at the end of the day, because I know the correlation it can be when it comes to your older sibling. You know, I have an older sibling as well, and I could only imagine like if the world seen like him through my eyes, you know, because he's actually my first point of reference of like music, you know, like he might have been, if for the people who do know my older brother, like he was an athlete first, but a lot of our time spent together was you know, caregiving our grandmother together, and then just being around each other, because the rest of my siblings and we don't share the same parents. But it was me and my older brother for the longest. And he's the reason why I'm so confident within, like, you know, chasing after anything that I want to get after, you know, anything that he picked up, whether it be a football, a baseball, a bowling ball, fucking anything that he wanted to do. I seen before my own eyes that like it was attainable. So I know that, like, looking back, like meeting Mook and like, you know, being around him and like seeing his growth in the game, and knowing that, you know, you kind of laid those steps before him, is always an awesome like opportunity to just like, you know, look back on, you know, because older siblings, we don't really think about the legacy that we're, you know, leaving behind. We just live life, you know. We're just trying our best to be the best versions of ourselves, so that our younger siblings can, you know, perhaps follow in the footsteps, but also, you know, be comfortable with being themselves. So, and I think y'all are a great example of that, you know. It's awesome whenever I see you two working. And Mook is such you both are such people persons, you know,
for sure.
like the people definitely gravitate around you two. So I just want to give both of y'all your flowers, you know.
Thank you so much. I think to add on to that, sorry, before we
no,
move
go
on to the
ahead,
next
go
one,
ahead.
Having Mook beside me, mind you, I watched my older siblings, so which
Right.
you know, there's 4 of us. So our oldest didn't do music, but she was the nurturer. You know, she held stuff down. She was our second mama. You know how that go. And then we had Morgan right before me. So watching Morgan, her journey was very different from what I wanted mine to be. So we watched her, you know, fall. We watched her get up, pick herself up. And then that was the same thing with Mook. But now he has a kid. You know, shout out to my nephew, Mark King Tiffy III. Now that he has a kid, that being my nephew, we work together to make sure we move properly for him. And I feel like a lot, it doesn't even have to be Polynesians, but when kids come into the picture, it really changes the game.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be doing different things because when they get older, they're gonna be like, hey, yo, Auntie was over there being wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want none of that. But they gonna hear it for sure. We done our part. But yeah, now that King is in play, yeah, we move accordingly. Very much. He holds me accountable to what I should and shouldn't do, and I love that. But thank you so much for bringing him up.
Oh,
like, I
of
love
course,
my siblings.
of course.
Oh hell yeah. What sound musically are you creating at the moment? What does this next project sound like?
I feel like I didn't go for a certain sound. You're gonna get a lot of it. You're gonna get hip hop beats. You're gonna get. I have 2 country songs coming out on this album, which
Fire.
I was very, very afraid to drop. But like I said, off the camera, I'm not afraid to lose right now.
Yeah.
Like, I have nothing to lose, and if I'm in this, I'm not toesy and I'm all in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So at this point, I'll take the criticism, but I'm not stopping this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna stop what people think about the music and stuff like that, because I genuinely do it because I love it.
Yeah.
It's therapeutic to my soul, and
No, that's fire. Country. I'm not a huge country guy, but I'm very excited to. I will use your music to like open that door for me, I guess.
it's okay if the men want to listen to it by themselves, going home and they going through a hard time. Shed a tear or two. I feel good. You ain't even got to tell me. That's all. That's all I care about.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I love that you are branching out and like blossoming into who you are when it comes to this music.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of artists can relate and should be listening to you right now because I feel like a lot of us don't have much to lose, especially when it comes to breaking that threshold and creating something new. Country in the Pacific Northwest, like a lot of people don't associate that. But they do associate diversity with what we got out here, and you are such a great example of that. I hear it in a lot of your music, so I wanted to ask, like, where did you get your start with singing? We touched on it a little bit earlier, but I wanted to know, like, did it come from like the church, or was it from like listening to like Morgan, and her music journey? Like, how did it come about for you?
So definitely wasn't church. Just
Yeah.
to put it out there.
Yeah.
My mom's side was churched out. My daddy was like, nah. We staying home, baby. You want to stay home? Yes, Dad. I'm right here. Like, we sleeping in. I promise you. But I feel like it really just came from, I could say my dad.
Mm-hmm.
My dad and his siblings, bro, they sing. They're musically inclined to different old school music that it was just kind of like, he sang all the time around me. My thing with my father was I loved car rides. And I don't know, every girl has a different relationship with their father and their mother, but I was a daddy's girl, and I still am to this day, to be honest. So anytime I wanted to go talk and like release what was on my head, I'd be like, Dad, can we go take a car ride? He'd be like, baby, let's go. Bump music. Sometimes we didn't even talk. He would just sing to me. So I felt like that's really where I got it was Pops. And I feel like that's where a lot of my siblings got it, was our surroundings, which was our bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what it is.
Do you does that and like initial familial aspect, does that motivate you to like do something different from what you're currently doing now?
Oh yes, for sure. I would say honestly, I would want to move differently for everything because my parents are retired.
Mm-hmm.
They're still working, so whatever I'm doing right now, it's nothing because they're still working a 9 to 5. Mind you, I'm still working a 9 to 5 my damn self. So like the image that's portrayed, people be like, do you want to stay in this lane or do you want to switch out? Well, this shit wasn't working for me for 3 years.
Yeah.
So I have no other choice but to try and maneuver somewhere else that I know will work for the long run. Because remember, we're getting older, bro. Like,
Facts.
the time is changing and the sound is changing. And if you wait too long, you're going to miss that fucking beat if you made a sound that came 2 months ago.
Yeah.
You're going to drop and think like, ooh, that was so last year type deal. So like, you really want to keep up with the music, and that's what I try to do.
Are we gonna get any examples of that on the project that you're working on?
Oh yeah, for sure. But like I said, I think this project right here was a more vulnerable site. And by the time you listen to the whole album, I hope you guys listen to the whole album, you're gonna see what type of woman I actually am. People think, oh, the tattoos and everything. Don't get it fooled. I'm probably one of the most softest person. I wouldn't say soft in that way, but emotional.
Right.
Like
in tune with yourself, you know,
I
like
protect my energy. Like I protect it to the fullest. And I wasn't like that a year ago, 2 years ago. But yeah.
Do you think the tattoos fool people into thinking that you're more aggressive, or do people have that perception of you being way more aggressive than you actually are in like person to person?
For sure. A lot of them think that, before they have a conversation with me, the tattoo show, either I'm a gangbanger, and they say it to a gangbanger, a rapper, or like a female that wants to be a man. And none of those three apply to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All the tattoos that I have, they're meaningful, they're sentimental. They may look like, I'm a part of something.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't gangbang. I've never gangbanged in my life. My parents and my family have made it a thing to where we didn't have to. So, shout out to them. But yeah, as far as that, nah. I feel like they all look at me like I'm something that I'm not, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And to add on to that, that's why it was really hard for me to find out who the fuck I was growing up. Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand when I say that. I was a people pleaser. One, because I wasn't settled in who I was yet. Yeah. And I'm 25 now, and I didn't find that out till I would say 6-7 months ago. Yeah. And a lot of people hate admitting that. But me, my personal journey, it took me 25 years to really figure out who the fuck I wanted to be and what I was. So I do apologize to everyone that dealt with me throughout those years that, you didn't know who you were going to get type deal. So, but I know who I am now. Apologies. Apologies to everything I've done before, but I'm here now.
I fucking love it. I love that you are so, even with the newfound journey of actually being able to find yourself, you have always came across as someone who at least had an idea of like where they were going, with their actions. I've always seen it. You inspire me daily. Yeah. Like you're definitely one of those people on my list that are like, that checks off everything for me, it's true because like you guys in the game, like my peers, my people that are, that understand who, like how I operate and how I think, because I know that our experiences are in such a niche way. Like, like a lot of people don't understand our I wouldn't call it obsession, but our call to our family that, on a dime, that will drop for family. Like a lot of people don't understand that. Like, some people don't understand the way of living, when someone passes in our family, like how much that means to, not just that intermediate family, but all their extended family. Like, the fact that we have to face those things and that there are still people like us, and or like you that are continuing to be creative, continue to push against the status quo. Like I take note into that because I think that is what like is going to elevate our people. I'm so like our people, but like, I feel like we don't take our stance in our much broader community, the music industry. We don't, we have throughout history we're a part of that foundation, when hip hop was being created, when it reached the West Coast, when R&B and country was spreading throughout the globe, like our people attached to this industry and has been a part of it in all levels, whether it's promotion, event gathering, security, just being a part of the culture on all levels. I love that there are people like us that will take a stance, will tell the next generation, like, how to be yourself. And I feel like that is like a huge message of this episode.
Sure.
And I'm so happy that you're here on the platform, because our kids don't hear that.
Yep.
Whether they don't hear that on a daily basis. They could go a whole lifetime without hearing that from their own family. So, just this being a conversation that is actually being held is so important to me, because I have kids that I see on a daily basis that will crash out, that, will burn out because they're faced with us being in America, but as well as our people back home. So,
Heard you.
I wanted to say all that just to give you a hand clap, truthfully. Truthfully.
No, but I love that. And I think that it's what it's called. You're giving me all my flowers, but bro, you've been out here. Like, everybody knows you type deal, both of you guys, and the Groovy Tapes itself. Like, shout out to having a platform for Seattle. Like, that's a big accomplishment. That's why I was always bugging y'all. Like, get me on the show.
No, yeah.
Like, get me there. But I feel like it worked in God's timing, and this is perfect timing to be here for sure. So again, give Groovy Tapes their flowers. Can I get a hand clap?
Was that a CeCe T hand clap real quick? Oh man, forever blessed. Before we do move on from the topic of music, I did want to ask you, like, what is your mindset behind releasing your music? I think this is a great occurring question that me and Corey, spend our time on.
Yeah, I'm a vaulter.
She is a vaulter, brother.
I probably have like 100+ tracks. The time that I dropped my first one, trust me, I've been hearing it from even my family, my siblings. They're like, "When the fuck are you?" I
was doing my research, and it was like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
it was like good. Her good 5 tracks, and I'm like, oh yeah, CeCe's a vaulter, because I know this is not just it.
I got a ton of stuff in the vault, and I feel like I should just drop it at this point. But like I said, I didn't know who I was, so I was trying to make music, trying to fit into the all right, let's sell drugs and smoke weed, like, you know what I'm saying. I had to figure out what lane I was going in, and some of the music, they're not good messages to anyone, if I'm being completely honest. So I really had to take a step back and be like, yo ass could sit in the vault. This could come up in a smoke session when we drinking and everybody's listening, then fuck it. But yeah, as far as that, I'm a vaulter. I'm a vaulter to the fullest. But if you want some unreleased tracks, let me know.
Okay.
Corey's always on that. He's good for it. He's going to ask for it.
See, I'm 50-50 though. Don't send me nothing you never... if you never plan to release it, send me it. But if you're going to release it, I'll wait. Because I'm a full album person. Like, whenever Tavares is making music, I always refuse to hear shit early. Unless he's like, you need to hear this, brother. Like, I love this song so much.
You want to hear it when the world hears it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's love, though.
But I'm a full album person. So like, anytime any artist send me their music, or just like, oh, I'm dropping this today, like, I'm a full, like, I'm top to bottom, and then I'll just add the songs that I love or the full project. But like, that's why with him, I'm just like, don't show me track 7 if I don't know what track 1 and 2 sound like.
1 through 7.
You know,
I think that's crazy. You say that's your album listener.
Yeah.
Because times have changed. When we were growing up, we would listen to the whole album on the CD. This generation now, they're taking the hottest on that album.
They're skipping. Like, I can't skip because it's for real 2 reasons. Like, I want to know what your intentions were making this project, and you don't learn that picking the ones you like out. Like, obviously, I'll do that to add it to, like, when I'm just riding around, it just comes on. I'm like, oh, I want to hear what I love. But I want to take in, like, your art and your music, and I want to hear what you're saying. Because I love B-sides. So I'm very big on, like, hearing just good music that may have not been the hottest track, but it's also just, like, this is the best song. Like,
to me, it's like a personal preference.
Exactly. So, like, my favorite song, I always take Tavares' first album just because it was, like, kind of his introduction to, like, the Seattle and like kind of the world, and everyone loves Same Thing. Same Thing's a banger.
Oh my God, that's my.
But the best song on the album is Letter to Tootie. If we're being real, like, Letter to Tootie is one of Tavares' best songs, just because it is him cutthroat honesty and, like, really vulnerable. Like, he is vulnerable in his music.
I miss you,
like,
Tootie.
Listen to it. Not that I miss you.
Can we elaborate on this track real quick? I know you interviewed me, but hey, can you tell us a little bit more about that track? I want to know.
Oh my gosh, Letter to Tootie I was so down bad. So honest with myself. I miss this girl. You know, it was recently, just a good summary of it. I was finally in a relationship where a girl actually, like, you know, like really enjoyed who I was, you know, like, and then like I was never the type to be at a girl's house all day long, you know, like type shit. But she was all like, "Yo, can you stay in my room while I'm at work?" And then, you know, like, you know, she's ordering me food and shit. Like, she's showing me like,
y'all was playing house.
You know, yeah. Y'all talking about like bare minimum shit on the other side of the camera. They're probably like, Tavares, that's the bare minimum. What are you talking about? And I'm like, I've never seen the bare minimum before. I never, like, you know, I'm staying the night. Like, you know, I'm hanging out with her mom and her sisters and shit. And like, you know, I'm at home all day type shit. I had just got laid off, but like, you know, and so
women, listen to this right now for my ladies.
It was insane, but overall, it was truly a letter to her to tell her, like, you know, things didn't work out, but like what you showed me, like I loved, like, you know, and that, you know, if you don't hear it from me, like, I do miss you. So like that was the song. Yeah. And I understand why it's his favorite song, because I'm like singing it. When I recorded that night, I was holding the mic. I was like, you know, like I have my Ursher, you know, on me, you know, like that's how I was feeling. So that's why he
spotlight music right there.
I think that's funny as hell, because my first relationship, it was like 6 years, almost 7. What's it called? And we broke up. I was down. When I tell you down,
I can't even imagine. Bro, you said 7 years. Oh no.
I made a song.
I'm never coming back.
Not even just dropped the song, right? I made this corny ass, and it was in Austin Hollis's. Shout out to Austin's shed. It was in Austin Hollis's shed. And I was like, fuck it, let's shoot this shit. Like, mind you, I'm over here dancing, hand dancing and shit like that, bro. I'm like, bro. And the song name was her initials with my last name initial. Corny, nigga. What? And, oh my God.
Love it. That came from the Fatu for real.
It sure did. And then my Fatu, no, she broke my Fatu.
Oh yeah.
Leave me alone.
Oh man, what a lovely time.
Hey,
brother.
But it's love to all my exes, so go ahead.
You know?
I said it a week ago, but I told brother I'll spin the block on all of them. They know it's good. But brother,
no, let's not talk about it right now.
Do you have a question before I take us out today?
I guess my question is, what's some of the greatest advice that you've received in your life? Because I feel like you have a very humble heart, but also you know exactly where you want to be. And was there any advice that led you to like that being your aura and your being, or is just like it's always been you?
I think the best advice I got was just be me. I know it's very cliche, but you know, and they're like, just be you.
Yeah.
I never really understood that until I found myself. So when I did find myself and started to love myself unconditionally, being me was like, it was easy. It came easy. So I think that was the best advice, because I really took like 3-4 years. And had that, it was like my picture on my phone, like it was written in my room type deal. Like, be you. And now it's kind of like everything's falling into place just because I'm trying to be myself.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I love that. Yeah.
No, I feel like that is, as cliche as people say it sounds, it's, even today, it's probably one of the hardest things for people to like really enact and really stand on like things that they love, their own morals. They're just like, however you see the world, is very tough for people to like project in like a real honest way. So the fact that you take the time to learn that about yourself and chase it, I think is a beautiful thing, because like I feel like not enough people know themselves. Yeah. So they do things on assumption instead of like, nah, I really love this about me, so let me do this and let me be true to like this personality, or this is what I love. Yeah. So let me do what I love, which I think is a beautiful thing. And it's a very difficult thing when we are sensory wise, we know so much about everything now. So why not want to be that person or this person, or I like their shoes, they wear better shoes, so let me just shop like that or do things like this. So like to know who you are and where you want to be and be able to stand on it and like cut through, it will always benefit you. But it's a very difficult thing. For sure. So
I heard you.
Yeah, I think it's amazing that that's some of the greatest advice that you live, and it showed throughout this whole episode of just like you being you. So it's beautiful.
Man.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna do a good hand clap, and then Rolando, brother, do you mind checking these cameras because we are pushing up on 30. Just wanted to make sure before we did the outro. Okay, thank you so much. And then before I do take us out, do you have anything you want to relay to your friends or family on the other side of that camera?
Oh, yeah, for sure. One thing I'm going to say is I took a break for a really long time, and a lot of people counted me out. But this year, y'all going to see. This year, y'all going to see. And you guys can take it as cocky, confident in any case. But I'm here to play. For sure. I'm here to play and make a name for myself out here in Seattle. And once that's done, we going worldwide, baby. We going worldwide. We're trying to go international. And we're trying to take everybody that's trying to go with us.
Come on.
So, yeah, stay with your own, man.
I love that.
Another motherfucking hand clap. KWJT, you've been grooving with the South, man. We got CeCe. We got Corey, Rolando, and Tavares.
Come on.